It can happen in less than a second. Your life can change forever.
My car was a wreck and I couldn't pay my bills.
What would you do?
I was hurt and I couldn't work.
Who would you call?
I called Brown and Brown.
I called Brown and Brown.
Call Brown and Brown if you've been hurt at 231-4878. That's 231-HURT.
We'll fight for you.
And at Brown and Brown, if you can't come to us, we'll come to you. New 1973 catalog for any lawn job. Ed and Dan Brown. This is our catalog.
My name is Ed Brown, and I'm the senior partner at Brown & Brown.
I'm Dan Brown. I'm a partner. I've been working here at Brown & Brown for 10 years.
I started the firm in 1989, and it was me, a telephone, a computer, and 2 chairs. To begin with, there was just Brown, and I was up on the 10th floor and practicing in a little bitty office, maybe half the size of this office.
I said, well, what the heck? I'll take the LSAT, which is a law school admittance test, performed reasonably well on it, put my application in at St. Louis University, and went to law school. And after 3 years, graduated with honors.
I think he thought I had too much of a turtle practice, so he decided to go up to Chicago.
I started working for the prosecuting attorney's office, tried a lot of cases. From there, I started my own practice in Chicago.
I always tried to do the right thing for people and hoped that they would send more business my way by way of referrals, and it just snowballed, and my brother joined me.
The grass is greener in St. Louis. I was homesick. I came home.
Then from there, it just grew and grew until we moved into bigger offices.
This is the start of Brown & Brown, Ed and Dan Brown. 27 years ago, 28 years ago, and it's going on still today.
Good morning, Brown & Brown.
It's really important to have someone fight for you when you get a traffic ticket, because the alternative is paying the ticket, in which case the points go on your record. If you get too many points on your record, you lose your driver's license.
My name is Anthony, from St. Louis, and I'm a forklift operator. And this past summer, I was pulled over for speeding here in the city, and a couple of other tickets were thrown at me and jeopardized my license. And I knew that I needed some help.
It's just a very, very difficult thing to handle legal problems on your own. You need somebody who's experienced, somebody who's knowledgeable, somebody who's done it a long time, somebody who knows the players, somebody who knows the people in St. Louis that matter.
Ed Brown made sure I kept my license and I didn't have to pay an outrageous fine. I'm glad I called Brown & Brown, and I'm very happy with the way they've been taking care of me. I would recommend anybody with a traffic violation to call Brown & Brown.
Good morning, Brown & Brown. Good morning, Brown & Brown.
My name is Anita. I live in the Central West End. I had an accident on March 17th of '93. I was crossing Chestnut and 20th to pick up my boyfriend. We were going skiing that night, and a man ran the red light. He was drunk. It was St. Patrick's Day, and I had to go to the hospital. And after that, the insurance company started calling and asking questions.
Dealing with insurance companies. Well, most individuals that come to our office have already dealt with the insurance adjuster. And they are here because the adjuster isn't doing what is in their best interest.
Working with Brown & Brown was very satisfying. It took the pressure off dealing with the insurance company. I didn't have to do really anything except for the deposition and get the check at the end.
We'll make sure your car is fixed from the get-go. Make sure you get a rental car while your car is being fixed, and make sure that you get the proper medical treatment.
I'm really glad I called Brown & Brown.
Brown & Brown.
Brown & Brown.
My name is Gail. I live in North St. Louis, and I work as a cashier in a supermarket here in the city. I work on the register. I scan groceries approximately 7.5 hours a day. Also, I work in the office and I count money. Around February of '99, I started feeling some tingling and numbness in my hands. I wasn't sure at all what had caused the pain initially until somebody mentioned carpal tunnel syndrome. With the carpal tunnel syndrome, you have pain in your palms, you have weakness, and what you get is numbness, tingling, and excruciatingly short pains in the elbows. I put in a request to my store manager to be referred out to see a doctor. Well, after about a couple months, he finally gave me a referral and I went to see the doctor.
What they're trying to do is prevent you from going to the doctor. They don't want you to seek medical treatment. Why? Because you have to realize the key to your case is to document your injuries. And how do you do that? By going to the doctor. Insurance companies love it if all you do is go to an emergency room and you don't follow up with the doctor. Why? Because if I have to go to court, the first thing they're going to say is, well, your client must not have been very injured because he never followed up with the doctor.
Well, during my research, I found out that it was what they term a repetitive motion syndrome. It's when you're using your hands, you perform the same duties over and over. And by checking groceries at the check stand, I grab the groceries, and I scan, and I scan, and I scan. And my hands are doing the same repetitive motion. I was in intense pain, and it's bad, but it's also terrible trying to sleep because when you have to adjust and adjust so many times when you're sleeping because your hands go numb, they tingle.
One of the biggest concerns we always have is individual come in and say, hey, I don't want to get in any trouble. Normally, if you're hurt at work, we deal directly with the insurance company. We don't deal with your employer at all. And under Missouri workers' comp laws, you're entitled to 3 things from the insurance company. 1 is make sure all your bills are paid. 2 is lost wages. If you're off work, you should get compensated for it. And 3 is a lump sum settlement.
After the pain of healing from the surgeries, I had to also have physical therapy again, and it alleviated it for a short period of time, maybe about 4 or 5 months. And then the same symptoms started coming back. And not only did the symptoms come back, they came back worse. Once I was at work and I made a mistake counting money, and I opened my thumb and I had to drop to my knees because it was so painful.
Gail's my girlfriend and fiance, and I don't like to see her in any pain.
The company didn't seem to care whether or not I was in pain or not.
So I told her to call Brown and Brown.
We work on a contingency fee basis for workers' comp claims, and our fee is 25% of whatever we collect on your behalf. If we don't collect anything, you don't owe us any money. So it's basically risk-free as far as you're concerned. But it's important to have an attorney steer you through the process, even when you're injured at work. Why? You're dealing with an insurance company. And again, the insurance company's goal is to give you as little as possible.
I'm very glad I called Brown and Brown. Dan went out on a limb and called the doctor and set up an appointment and took care of the doctor's fee to make sure that I saw another doctor and I got a second opinion. My job didn't want to accept responsibility for the ulnar nerve damage, but Dan Brown made sure I saw a doctor, and he's making sure that they take responsibility.